Hey, what's up, everyone? Kino here, and I've started watching season 2 of Carnival. This is the immediate next day. I still really want to finish this. I'm probably gonna watch a bunch of episodes in a row. But this one, it feels different because it feels like, oh wow, we're actually like really getting some answers as to what's going on here, and it feels like a little bit like they dump it, like immediately when you start watching it. Well, one, we get another kind of intro sequence from Samson, kind of explaining stuff, and he explains that. Actually, I kind of forget what he said a little bit here. I'm blanking on it, but it was something related to the prophets. He's saying that like the key thing I remember was the fate's now in the hands of a reluctant prophet, which is Ben. So a little bit more specific than his really general one in the first episode, but this one we deal with the immediate aftermath. So Ben killed Lods, saved Ruth, inadvertently. Um, and management tells him who he is. So he's the Russian soldier from Ben's dream sequence. Again, I had a real hard time parsing what's actually happening in a lot of those dream sequences. So we know that he is the soldier, or at least he claims to be. I don't know if that's legitimately true or not, but let's assume he is. And I think he's Alexi's father, Justin's father, because he's Russian, obviously, and there's some crossover there, Russian. Just as Scudder is Ben's father, and he says he's got to find Scudder because he knows who the priest is, and they have to kill the priest because it's going to lead to the development of the nuclear bomb. He shows him a vision, and again, remember this is 1930s, so they don't have any conception of what the nuke is yet. I, 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 I feel like if this is legitimately what the plot's been building towards, like it's like we have to stop nuclear bombs. I think that's kind of stupid. It's reminding me of Lost, and I worry that like, or not necessarily Lost. Actually, what a good example is Battlestar Galactica. So I saw that the series was maybe co-created, or at least he was a writer on it, but Ronald Moore, who wrote the Battlestar Galactica reboot, or again, like, you might, I don't know if he specifically wrote it. There might have been other people involved, but I know he was a key figure in that show, and that show had a mystery angle to it too. At the heart of it, it's like this big mystery about like God and fate and all this stuff. So there's a lot of crossover there, and I think I saw something briefly that like maybe more left this show to go work on Battlestar Galactica, because this season I think came out in 2004, which is when the Battlestar Galactica reboot happened. So I think he might have left, but and maybe that explains the kind of abruptness and pace that picks up here. But my whole point for this was that there's a mystery about like the Cylons and God and all this stuff in Battlestar Galactica, and it ends in this kind of very unsatisfactory way for a lot of fans, sort of like Lost too. I think a lot of these mystery shows, they have the problem where the question is often more interesting than the answer. It's like imagining all the possibilities of what it could be is better than actually what it turns out to be in the end. So I worry this show will have that problem too as we go into the season, because I was like, I don't know. Like, are we connecting it that directly to like the plan is to stop nuclear bombs? Like, come on. I figured it was something more spiritual than this, and it seems like there is, because there's this thing that happens where Justin a guy like cuts him. He apparently knows about the prophets, and he's like, in order for he's like, you're just a prince right now. In order to become the prophet, you have to kill the prince, and he tells him to kill Henry Scudder. So I think how it works is if Justin is the son of management and Ben is the son of Scudder, uh, if Justin has to kill Henry Scudder because he's like the opposite, I think I think Justin is the dark one and Ben's the good one, and Ben has to kill. If we follow that line, then Ben would actually have to kill management because management is the dark one. I think because again, also I just remember this from the beginning. He said that like the dark one fled Europe in order to avoid their fate. And that's again explains what happened with Scudder and management in Europe during the First World War. So if Justin's the dark one, or maybe it's not that simple, then they have to kind of kill the opposite prophet. Although one thing that's kind of fucking with me is like, where does Sophie fit into this? Because the man who raped her mother, I think, is Kerrigan. This guy who they talk about in this episode. He was with Scudder at the Templar house, and he apparently went crazy. And he painted that picture on the wall that had the guy with the tree tattoo, the same tree that Justin is going to build his new church at. I don't know what all this shit means personally, but I think that he is Sophie's father. What that means is he also magic. Is she a prince or princess in this case? Is he a prophet? You know, does she? Because remember, the mother Apollonia was telling Lods that it's Sophie, so she might be again. That guy said all prophets in her house, so she might be something in this mix too. I really don't know yet. They're not explaining it, so. I'm gonna watch the next episode. I'm gonna see how it goes, but yeah, definitely we're ramping up some of the explanations, and we'll see if it ends in a satisfactory way. I'm gonna wait to reserve judgment. So, either way, thanks for listening to this, and I'll watch the next one. Talk to you soon. Hey, what's up, everyone? Kino here, and just watched the second episode of the second season. Um, I think I think the names of this episode was the location that they're in, which is Alamogordo, New Mexico, or something like that. I don't know. Alamogordo, I think. And because the only reason I remember that is because the next episode is called Ingram, Texas. So I think they're naming them after the locations they're in. But this episode, not a lot happens, honestly, really. Both in terms plot wise and character wise. I mean, Sophie ran away last episode, and they're all looking for her. It's kind of the only thing that happens. Ben is investigating, so he goes to the church, or I don't know what it is. It's like an asylum, I guess, but a religious asylum for Father Kerrigan, who was, again, who worked or who traveled with Scudder. And maybe Scudder did something to him, we don't know, but he has all these, like a crazy room. He's got all these like mad drawings and stuff. One of which is the guy, the tree guy, who I don't remember if they said his name. It's revealed at the end of the episode he's like the harbinger, like the usher of destruction or something. Like he's a sign that like the end times are upon them. Again, he's Sophie's dad. It's pretty clear that that's what it is. But he goes there, and there's a phrase that the guy keeps saying over and over again. Turns out it's a poem, and management tells Ben to go to Texas to find the woman who I guess wrote the poem or something. I don't know. We also get a scene of like management says that they're dying, and Ben offers to save them. And management looks tempted. Management said that they've been tempted by Ben before. So I think it would be bad if Ben healed them for some reason, but again, we don't know why. But anyway, they got to go to Texas basically. Yeah, I mean, Ben and Sophie have a nice moment together. I think this is where we're going to see their relationship kind of blossom. So that makes sense if they're going to go down that route. We also get something weird with Justin. So he has this new girl who's like an orphan girl who's working as a maid in his house, and he has this weird thing where I guess maybe it's he's imagining her taking off her clothes and then like scratching herself, and then the girl starts to cry. So I think like she felt the evilness there, um, but we don't know. And it seems like he's interested in her sexually. We've been seeing him go to this like Asian prostitute, which I thought they were just having sex, and they might still be having sex. I don't know, but what she was actually doing in this scene in this episode was she was tattooing the tree that one guy has on him. So he's now got that tattoo. What that means, I don't know. I don't know what the tree is. I don't know what it means. It's the tree at the spot where Justin's building his new church, the Temple of Jericho, and Jericho from the Bible is this city that got destroyed. So there's a lot of apocalyptic imagery associated with Jericho. But what this all means, I don't know. This episode, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's like I really did not walk away with any more understanding of either the characters or the plot. So kind of a skippable episode in that regard. There's always stuff with the Dreyfus family, which I don't know where it's going. It's like they were stealing money from Samson, which is like the show does these weird like little character beats in between the plot stuff, but I don't know if it's actually amounting to stuff because like we spent a lot of time with the Dreyfuses last season. We actually, and that it led to some real character development on their part. But scenes like this make me question, like, oh, is this related to a character arc that we're going to be associated with them? Or is this just like, oh, just random little details at the carnival? And I don't mind random little details at the carnival, but I think they could be tied to, like, a larger character growth arc. Especially since, again, there's a lot of carnies we have not spent time with. The lizard guy we've not spent time with. The conjoined twins we've not spent time with. Even Ruth and Gabriel, we've only spent time with them in regards to Ben. Like, let's see what their life is like. So my whole point is this is like, we can do the random little character moments here, but let's actually tie it into something that's going to grow and change here, or we'll learn more about some of these characters. But just random scenes of the Dreyfuses, I'm just like, we get what their deal is. Let's move on here. Let's go focus on some of these other carnies because they seem interesting. Even Lila, the bearded lady, like she's suspicious about where Lodst has gone. I think she knows he's dead now. But let's follow her a little bit. Why is she the way she is? Like, I mean, she's been cozying up to Lodst. Maybe she's in love with him. Let's explore her background a little bit. Maybe make her a little bit more of a sympathetic character. But no, it kind of always just goes back to the Dreyfuses and Jonesy and Sophie. And like, I get it. They're the more like normal characters in the story. But yeah, I'd love to see what it's like for the conjoined twins to have to kind of live life together. I'm sure maybe they get sick of each other sometimes. That'd be a cool story, So that's why I say sometimes the storytelling is at odds with itself in this show. But that's pretty much all I have to say for this episode. We'll see where they go next one here. But this is the last season, so I know that. So I'm prepared for the story to not necessarily like give me all the answers I want, because I'm pretty sure the show got canceled. So, but we'll see where it goes. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next one coming up here. All right, back with another reaction. Just watched the third episode, and yeah, this is another one where I felt like we didn't really advance the story or the characters too much. We get a little here and there. I'm having a hard time even like saying what happens. I mean, the main thing is Ben goes to find the crone, and goes down this. He comes upon this like weird. I don't even know what to call it. Like it's not a farm. It's like a compound or something. It's just this place where these few weirdos are living, with a monkey, and they capture him, and they're gonna rob him and kill him. However, they find the Templar talisman thing he has from his dad, and they're like, oh shit, it's the one the crone wants to see, so they unbury him, and then they're like, oh, she's been waiting for you for a long time. And we don't actually meet her this episode. We're gonna meet her next one, but um yeah, it's like it's a lot of creepy atmosphere there, but not, again, not really advancing Ben's character, not really answering any of the questions of the mystery of the story. It's just kind of all set up for a payoff that doesn't really happen this episode. I mean, we get some other stuff again with the Dreyfuses. We're giving them another storyline thing happening here where Stumpy is in debt to some guy, and it's like, why do we need this? Why don't we focus on the other carnies? I swear the only carnies who get any kind of character development are the Dreyfuses, Sophie, and Jonesy. And we get a little thing of Jonesy, one also having a flirting with Libby, or not really flirting, but it's like it's hinting that there's something, they have some feelings for each other. I guess since Sophie both messed with them, they're like, oh, I guess we better get with each other. Nothing happens in this episode, but they're hinting at something. Also, at the end there, he's kind of looking at Sophie and kind of like not sure how to feel. She's working as like a like one of the just the workers, like the people who set up the carnival and take it down and stuff, since she doesn't want to do the card reading anymore with her mom gone. So there's that whole thing. There's a little bit with Sophie. One, we see a card, a tarot card of the guy with the tree on it, and she says it's not one of hers. I don't know if that's from the actual tarot card decks or nothing, but it seems like it might just be, again, the whole weird magical subplot happening. And we get the end there where she's like the radio turns to Justin's broadcast and she hears it, and I think there's some hints that she might get possessed. Again, she's the daughter of the usher, so uh, she could get possessed by something. Justin, I don't know. We get more stuff of him being weird. He finally has sex with that Celeste girl. Again, I don't. It's hard for me to judge what he is as a character because, like, is he even a person? Is he a demon? Right? Like, it's hard for me to understand where the line between him, the individual character, is, and just his role as like this dark um prince of destruction, like one of the like one of the people with powers. Like, are the powers controlling him, or is he controlling the powers? Because remember, a few episodes ago, he wanted that priest to kill him when he realized that he's the Dark One. Maybe he's the Antichrist or something. So is it like, am I meant to judge him as a character in and of his own right, making individual choices, or is he possessed by something? Is he just a force of evil? It's hard for me to kind of get a sense of who he is as a character. So, um, like, Ben is clearly, even though I think he's meant to represent the good side, he's not possessed by anything. He's a character making choices, trying to do what he can to protect the people he loves, but ultimately scared of his powers. Versus Justin, again, did he embrace the darkness? Did he choose that, or is he possessed by it? I really don't know. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't have a lot to say about a lot of these episodes. They're just kind of all set up, no real kind of payoff or advancement of the characters or plot. So I gotta be honest, I've not really been enjoying this season as much. I mean, it's cool atmosphere in some of these episodes. Like, it's creepy, but what does this mean for the broader message of the show? I really don't know. I can't tell from these first few episodes. And no, maybe you could argue it takes a while to get going. The last season took a while to get going too, but I still thought we had like cool character stuff happening throughout most of that, versus really taking a back seat to whatever the show is trying to do at this point. So we'll see if they redeem themselves in future episodes here, but I'm just gonna keep trying to finish this series. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to this one, and stay tuned for the next one coming up here. All right, just watched another episode. This the fourth one, I think it is now. Um, this one I liked. I We got some good information about. Well, I mean, we didn't get a lot of information. We got some information, but we got some information about Scudder. Ben. They take Ben to the crone, and it turns out the crone is his grandmother, and she's this creepy old woman. She's got no eyes. Her the weirdos who like abducted Ben are his cousins actually. So she had a bunch of kids, one of them being Henry Scudder. And she is creepy and weird, and she reveals some stuff about the dad, um, mainly that he's dead, or he has a death mask. I mean, I don't remember if she ever actually says he's dead. Ben certainly thinks he's dead now, but I think just based on the fact that he's got magical powers and stuff, he probably is not dead. Just like how Ben cut his own throat earlier and then he was better. I imagine it might be something like a resurrection type thing where maybe he quote unquote died, but then came back to life. Or maybe he just made his mother think he was dead and just went off on his own. Don't know what it is. At the end of the episode, the siblings or the cousins of Ben reveal that she's crazy and she killed their whole family the day that Henry was born. Maybe as some sort of sacrifice for something. Maybe for something else. Maybe she's just crazy. They also threw in this detail that Ben's grandfather, her husband, was one of the founders of the clan, which okay, which is wild. I'm just like, all right, I guess that happened. I don't know what that means for the story. Is the clan somehow connected to all this kind of Gnostic mysticism type shit? I don't know, but. So, I mean, we get some more information. Obviously, we are still no closer to Scudder than we were at any point in the series. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe next episode they'll find him somehow, but it doesn't feel like they're necessarily making progress. Like, yes, they're learning more stuff about him, but in terms of his location and kind of honing in on him, no. Meanwhile, though, we got some good stuff with Sophie's characterization. She's working as one of those laborers. They don't like it. They don't want to work with a girl. And so Jonesy sets her to dig the latrine pit for where they pee and stuff. And it's very hard labor. And she does the whole job. Like she like really sticks by it, even though the guys are messing with her. And she just doesn't want to feel anything because she doesn't want to deal with feeling about her mother and stuff like that. So she's going to work herself ragged. And at the end of the episode, she goes next to Ben and sleeps, with him, like in the same little cot that he's in on the ground. So she trusts Ben. I'm glad to see her and Ben are getting closer together. I thought that was a pairing that was going to work. But my only thing is that like Ben's been really absent for most of the series. Like I can understand why she trusted Jonesy because he was there for her a lot. It made sense why she would have feelings for him. Ben, I mean, he saved her obviously in the first episode, but we've not really spent time having them interact and really kind of develop a rapport. So if they go down the romantic route between the two of them, we need more stuff to make them really like, why does she trust him? I get kind of why she trusts him is he's the only one who hasn't really hurt her. Libby hurt her, Jonesy hurt her, and here's this just neutral party who's just not involved in anything. So that kind of makes sense to me, but even still, I would have liked. I just think about how much time we've wasted here. Like, we could have developed out the relationship between these characters for a while now, but Ben's just been so distant from all the carnies. It's hard to really. I mean, the closest one he had is Ruth, and we get a little bit of stuff with Ruth this episode. She's seeing death. She's seeing Lodz. She's seeing Sophie's mother. I think it's because she went to the other side. what this means for her character and what it means for people coming back from the dead. I wonder if it's sort of like Game of Thrones, where if you come back from the dead, you lose a part of yourself. It didn't seem like that at first. She seemed pretty normal, but maybe we'll learn that, like, yeah, bringing people back from the dead's not a good thing for them, you know? We'll have to really see where it goes, though. Again, we're continuing on this Dreyfus storyline, which I absolutely am just like, I'm over these characters. Can we please focus on someone else? Because it's constantly the same thing. It's constantly Stumpy's pathetic, Rita's being sexualized somehow or harassed or something. Libby, I mean, the only interesting thing about Libby was the fact that maybe she's gonna get with Jonesy, but um, yeah, I'm just over the storyline. I've seen it a bunch of times. Um, yeah, it's just we could be doing some more interesting character work than more family drama with the Dreyfuses. And I only just realized this now, but the Mexican girl is gone. I guess she just didn't travel with them when they left New Mexico, and I can understand why, because they treated her like shit. But it's kind of the problem with the show. It's like, why did we even introduce her if we weren't going to continue on? Now maybe there's something to like, maybe the actress didn't want to do a second season or something or whatever. I don't know if that's the reason, but um, it's like we introduced this character, we introduced a new dynamic into the family, and that, like, okay, if we're gonna keep telling stories about the Dreyfuses, here's this new dynamic, a new outsider joining the group that, like, can lead to all sorts of character development. Her and Libby had a little bit of a friendship going on. Her and Rita had a little bit of a rivalry. Obviously, Stumpy was sleeping with her. It's a whole new character dynamic, but it's just gone, and it's like it's just wasted development. What her only story function was, she brought a Stumpy uh to get the card reading, but other than that, it's like we could have just completely not used her. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The show storytelling, it's interesting at times, but like I said, there's a lot of like pistons misfiring here. That, like, this could be a really strong character story. I like a lot of these characters, but the show's just not putting the focus, I think, where it needs to be. It's focusing so much time on the mysticism angle while also not really giving us a whole lot. And I think that, I mean, part of it's got to be to just, like, they didn't. I bet they didn't know they were only going to get 2 seasons. Like, they're writing the show as if we got like 6 seasons to really kind of flesh this out. But um, that's why in a lot of shows you kind of can't. You got to kind of just focus on telling a complete story each season, because you never know when it's going to be your last season. So I don't know. Again, we'll see how it goes, but I just, there's a lot of missed potential for this season especially. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll check out the next one soon. All right, back again with another reaction, and sorry, I just forgot what I was doing for a second. Um, just watched the 6th episode, I think it is, or 5th. No, I think it's 6th. It's the one where Ben gets kidnapped by a creepy mask guy who. Well, I should start at the beginning. So, Ben goes looking um, for the guy who made the mask, because he saw the name of his father's death mask. So he goes to see him. Turns out it wasn't a death mask. He is alive. The mother, I guess, just assumed he was dead because of the mask. But yeah, this guy is like a creepy, like, toy maker type character, where he's like obsessed with like faces and stuff, and he drugs Ben, takes him to his basement, ties him up, and you're like, oh geez, this is gonna go badly. And he starts making a face mask out of him. Um, and then Ben just wakes up in the guy's living room, and you think for a moment that, like, was just a dream, but obviously it wasn't. Like, you could tell this is gonna be something. So he basically wakes up there, and the guy pretends like he didn't make a mask of him, Ben leaves, goes back to the carnival. Um, at the end of the episode, the guy listens to Justin's radio program, and I don't I don't know. I don't think this was a deliberate thing he wanted him to do, but I guess maybe just his influence like controlled this guy, because he sends Justin the mask and Justin puts on his face and he can see through Ben's eyes. Um which I was a little confused, because I was like, I don't know how that helps him, because he already knew what Ben's face looked like. He's had multiple dreams about him. The last episode, when Ben got the knife, he saw a vision of Ben stabbing him to death. So he knows what Ben looks like. The only information that would help is is confirming that he works at this carnival, which I guess he can tell that henchman who works for him, but the henchman was already there too. So it's like, and they even said he was gonna come back. So I don't know. Like, it's just like, it's a creepy like visual that the guy was making a mask of him, and it was cool that he could see through Ben's eyes. But like, what does it actually accomplish? Like, he already knew all that information. We didn't need to have this beat. And granted, again, it's creepy, it's cool, but we didn't need to have it per se. And there's just a lot of stuff in the show like that. I thought he was going to keep the mask too, and he would be like a tool, so he could constantly be looking through Ben's eyes, to kind of hone in on him more. But the mask breaks at the end of the episode. Maybe you can put it back together. I don't know, but it was bleeding. I just think that like it was a one-time thing to just confirm his identity to Justin. But there's other stuff that happens in this episode too, especially with Justin. So they've been doing this storyline throughout the entire season of like the news reporter guy investigating what happened at the church, because they're like, if the story gets out, you'll be ruined. I don't really know how the story would break out. The show does not make it seem like anyone is looking into this. Even if they were, I really don't think it would lead back to Justin. But for some reason, he's been really setting up Iris to be sacrificed, as like to give a confession, and go to jail. Which I don't know what'll happen, but at the end of the episode, she finally does. So really don't know what they're doing with her character at this point. I don't know why this storyline is so important, other than maybe just showing how kind of cruel, I guess, Justin's side can be. Unless they're building up to some big twist that I'm not aware of. But yeah, I was just like, is there really a point to this? What are we doing? But there's some other stuff this episode. There's Sophie and Ben. They have a vision of themselves kissing, so they're obviously going to be lovers. We learned at the end of the episode too, just very briefly, that the mother's ghost is still hanging around, and she confirms that it was always Sophie who could read the cards, not her. So Sophie's always been like psychic; she can see the future and stuff. She just doesn't know it. So again, how she's connected to all of this through the usher guy, I don't really know, but yeah, they're obviously bringing Sophie and Ben closer together. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting episode. Definitely some parts moving here. More shit with the Dreyfuses and fucking Stumpy betting on the boxing match. The end of the episode is kind of confusing. I couldn't tell. I think he's lying like to his wife, that he's like, "Oh, I won when I bet on this." But I mean, I don't think he did. I think he lied. He bet on the wrong boxer. But I don't know what his plan. I guess his plan. He doesn't have a plan. He's just desperately lying. But like, isn't she gonna know immediately when you don't have the money? Also, too, who took their bets? Like, who's the bookie who took their bets for this? Unless they're betting with each other. But I don't know who is taking the action and fronting this type of thing. They're in the middle of nowhere, unless he went into town, but it didn't seem like he got the money for the bet. right before the fights, like when they were setting up the thing, the fight was about to start. He got the money, so he had to go bet it pretty much immediately. Unless there's some local bookie there at the carnival just taking bets or something. I don't know how this works. And again, it's not a huge deal, but again, it's like, what are we showing him with the Dreyfuses? That Stumpy's pathetic? Maybe this is the prelude to a story where she leaves him or something, but um, we've gotten so much with the Dreyfuses already. It was an interesting little detail. At the end of the episode, I saw Lila. You don't hear anything. The camera's like panning away, but you hear Lila arguing with, or not arguing, but you see Lila talking with Samson, and obviously she's been concerned that Lods is dead, and she thinks Samson's behind it, and she wants him to pay for it. So it's interesting that they showed them talking at the end there, even though we don't hear what they say. I wonder if that's, I don't know if that's just meant to be like background detail that like, oh yeah, Lila's pissed at Samson, or if that's the prelude to some kind of story here. But overall, I mean, interesting episode. Very creepy atmosphere. I thought there was some interesting moments in it. And we'll see where we go from here. So I will check out the next one and get back to you soon. So talk to you then. All right, just watched the 6th episode. I think I said last time it was the 6th episode, but this one is. And this was a really good episode, actually. I thought, okay, this is what I want. This is some very good character storytelling. We advance the characters a lot. Don't advance the plot too much, but it's okay. My problem is it felt like a lot of these other episodes have not been advancing either. But this one felt like it was like a moment where all the characters stopped for a little bit. They had a chance to really interact with each other more and develop, and I thought that was really cool. Especially since we got some new carnies from this too. So on the road to Damascus, the carnival runs into the remains of the Daly Brothers Carnival, and that's another one we've been hearing about for a while. I think they're pretty famous or pretty successful carnival, and their the whole operation burned down in a fire, and I think it's because like the Daly Brothers burned them out for the insurance money, and so they're kind of stuck with nothing. They pull over, set up the tent, help, to just being like, we'll camp there with you guys for the night. And we get, like I said, we get a lot of great character interactions. Sophie and Ben spend the episode together. The romance really blossoms, and they end up having sex. Which one? I just thought it was cute. I like the two of them together, but it seems like there might be some implications to that because when they're having sex, rain starts appearing out of nowhere, and obviously Sophie's father was that one guy, and Ben's father's Scudder. So two kind of, I guess opposite lines of the magical side are congregating here. And I was wondering if Sophie got pregnant. Now, of course, just because they had sex doesn't mean she's pregnant. But if she is pregnant, what does that mean for the baby? Is this baby like the Antichrist, or are they the most powerful being ever? We really don't know. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I liked it. I thought it was a great. It felt justified why these characters would like each other. I kept saying I was worried about how they were gonna do that, but I mean, does it come a little bit like? Does it feel like we advanced a lot in their storyline in this one episode? Sure. Would I have liked to see it more well paced out from the beginning? Yes, but even still, I thought it was fine. We get some more stuff with the Dreyfus family again. We're really seeing how the gambling is negatively affecting Stumpy's relationship with Rita. He gets into a fight with Jonesy because Jonesy's now interested in Libby. We got even some stuff with like Lila. Not a lot of stuff, but she's kind of flirting with the other carnies from the other show, which is it's always good to see more interactions. I've not seen the Lizard Man or the conjoined twins or anything for a long time, so I don't know if they're still there or not, but I'm sure they're in the background somewhere. But what else? Oh, we also get the introduction to. I don't know if it's just these two joining or not, but it's a scorpion woman. So it's a woman, I guess, with just kind of deformed hands. Who it turns out she used to be married to Samson. So that's a cool interaction on his part. She's now married to someone who I don't know the correct how to describe this person in a politically correct term nowadays. In the episode, they use some terms that I don't know how people would feel about it now, but so it seems like these two people are joining the carnival. I don't know about the others. I think the rest of them are like going off on their own. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have the elephant there, but I imagine that would make filming more expensive. So yeah, I thought it'd be cool if these carnies joined and we got some new interactions there. At the end of the episode, Sophie leaves, which is obviously sad because we just got to see the relationship between her and Ben finally bloom, and now she's taking off. I understand why she feels the way she feels, though. The other storyline is Justin, so we've been building up to this whole like confession thing with his sister Iris. However, he pulls the wool over Tommy Dolan's eyes, and at the very last moment, he implicates him for the arson. So, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, like Tommy he was such a weird character. I didn't know what to think about him. I guess, excuse me. I guess the reason why Justin didn't tell his sister what he was planning this because he wanted her to feel bad for killing those children, which she doesn't. But I don't know. The whole thing with her, I don't know where they're going with her character. I don't know where they're going with his character, to be honest. I mean, at the end, Stroud is like honing it. He's finally found Ben. And Ben is going to find Scudder, so Stroud's going to follow him, which is going to lead to some conflict. But yeah, I'm not sure where they're going with some of these characters. Some of their arcs are very clear to me, but others are not. So overall, really good episode, very character driven, and I'm excited to watch the next one. So I'm going to do that, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, back with another episode reaction. I know my hair is crazy right now, but I don't want to go grab my hat. Just watched the 7th episode of season 2. And man, this is I feel like we've been building up to something and it just happened very quickly in a way that I was like, I found kind of underwhelming in some ways. So Ben finds Scudder. He's living at this hotel. I was very confused about the storytelling when it came to this detail because we never find out what he was doing there. Again, maybe they'll reveal it later, but it just seems weird not to... Like, there's so many things that Ben doesn't ask questions about in this episode. Like, why was he living in that hotel? Why did the hotel management cover for him? Like, the hotel management was, like, really defending him. I don't know why. Was Scudder, like, controlling them somehow with his powers? Did he do something to earn their loyalty? I don't know. The Stroud shows up and, like, tries to attack Ben, and Ben just kind of, like, walks away. And it's like, are you not concerned about... I mean, I guess he knows who that guy is. I don't know. It was just so weird that the guy tries to punch him. Ben dodges. The guy punches into like a mirror or something. And Ben just walks downstairs and is like, I know where you are, Scudder. And I was like, don't you want to deal with that problem of that guy being right there? I don't know why it took him so long to like bandage his hand and just keep following him. But just weird, clunky storytelling. Ben heals... the Scudder's face because he dipped his face in acid. Don't know why he did that. I don't know if he's just crazy or there was some method to the madness, but he heals it and it like causes everyone to pass out. I don't think it killed them. I would be surprised. Although we've never seen Ben's powers like like drain the life from someone rather than killing them outright. Like the field of crops and the fish when he was healing Gabriel, it all resulted in death. And also when he brought Ruthie back, he killed Lods. We've never seen him use his powers like not to kill people but draw their energy or something. So I don't think he killed a whole hotel full of people just to heal Scudder's face, because what does it matter? Um, I think he just used some of their life force. I don't know if that was intentional or not. He didn't. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but if he doesn't, like, he's being kind of flippant with his powers. Like, people die around you. That's why he took Ruthie out to the outskirts when she was bitten by the snake. He didn't do it in the carnival because he knew like returning her life would kill someone. I don't know if he knows that like healing a face isn't as bad, so it won't kill someone or not. You would think that what would have been happening this whole time is management would have been training him on how to use his powers, but we've not seen that happen. So if he is supposed to have a little bit more mastery over his powers so far because of the tutelage of management, that's something they haven't shown us or said directly. So you're kind of just making the assumption that that's happened. Again, I don't know why I'm focusing so much on this one little part here, but the whole storytelling just felt kind of clunky, and one of my lights just died. But when he takes Scudder back to management at the end, they get into a fight. Scudder reveals that the priest that they're looking for is Alexei, the Justin, and it does confirm that he's the management's son, which I mean I felt it made sense because they're literally the only two Russian characters that we know. They get into a big fight over it, and Ben stabs management, and it seems like it almost kills him, but then at the end he grabs Ben. It thinks he's like sucking life from Ben, and the lights of the carnival turn off and on during this whole thing. I don't know if that was like, is it just the powers kind of interfering with the lights, like, magical energies interfering with the lights, or is it suggesting somehow that like management is the heart or like at the center of the carnival, and if he dies, will something bad happen to the carnival? Not just metaphorically, like the management is the leadership, and without leadership, the carnival is adrift or whatever. But like, is it literally like, will something bad happen to the carnival because management's no longer there? Samson has shown great deference to management throughout all this. I mean, I understand on some level just because it's like management's a powerful, immortal wizard who can do whatever they want, can kill people. But is there some reason why they have to follow management? Is there some reason that, like, if management dies or they betray management, that, like, something bad will happen to the carnival? I don't know. We'll have to see next episode. But that's been happening. Jonesy has sex with Libby. The sex scene I found very weird. It kind of happens out of nowhere. I mean, it's been building up. I get that. I found the whole put it in my ass kind of thing a little weird. I think it was supposed to be kind of sweet. It was supposed to be like, I don't want you going where the Johnnies go. So she doesn't want him going in her pussy because I guess she's a prostitute. I didn't know that. No, like, I don't think they ever directly said that. Maybe they did. I missed it, but I thought just the mom prostituted herself, but apparently the daughter does too. And I don't know. The whole put it in my ass thing. It's like, that's the first time I've ever heard anal be referred to kind of in that romantic way. I just felt it was kind of weird tonally. This whole episode's weird, honestly. It just really is. That's pretty much all that happens. I mean, there's some stuff with Lila cozying up to Ruth because she saw Ruth was possessed by Lods before. Don't know if that's going to be how big of a plot thing that's going to be, if Lods is going to come back by possessing Ruth. But yeah, it's a weird episode. for finally getting Scudder back, like they finally found him. Not a lot of questions are answered. He gives very vague answers. Like Ben's like, "Why'd you leave me and Mom?" And he's like, "I didn't have a choice." Oh, well, I guess he says that management was looking for him and they were gonna kill him. Which I don't know why Ben suddenly seemed to be like, "No, management's not like that. They won't kill you." Yeah, management absolutely would. Like, I don't know where this loyalty to management's coming from Ben. Like, I understand why he's doing management's bidding because he wants to know about his father and what happened. But man, like Samson told you, don't trust management. It's like they don't care about human lives. You saw that with Lodz. I don't know why he suddenly thinks that like management is trustworthy. So I don't know. Weird episode, kind of clunky. But we have Scudder back, and that's gonna shift things completely. So I'm probably gonna watch the next episode here and get back to you. So I will do that, and I'll talk to you guys right after. All right, just watched the 8th episode of season 2, and this is an interesting one. So out of all of this time, it finally feels like we're advancing Ben's character. We're taking him in a direction, which is that he has assumed management's position after he killed him. Some of it feels a little bit rushed. It's like, oh, when he kills him, he got all of his memories and stuff. And so he knows what to do, and he knows even where to go. He knows to, like, we gotta go west. I don't know if he knows exactly where the priest is, because also the priest doesn't know exactly where he is, and neither did the Russian management. Management didn't know, so I think he just has a general sense of like we got to go that direction. But it was still cool to see him be like, okay, I've accepted my destiny, and now we got to go for it. Again, it's happening maybe from like from a practical standpoint because he killed him. Now he's got some of his like memories and drive and stuff, and that's what's kind of leading him down this path. But at least it's interesting. At least it's continuing Ben's character rather than him just kind of staring blankly each episode, being like, I'm not doing that, or whatever he says. So that was cool to see. I was a little confused about Samson this episode. I thought he didn't like management. He acted all hurt when management died, and it's like he's like oh, he's my friend, but he was the one who told Ben to, like, he uses people like chess pieces. Why I don't understand why he thinks like he considers him a friend. I mean, it's one thing I thought originally that Samson was going to be mad because management is like the leader of the carnival, and so now the carnival's kind of rudderless without him. But the way they presented it was like Samson was like genuinely like I'm gonna miss this guy, and it's like they never established a positive relationship between Samson and management. It was always like Samson was like, I have to do what management says, but he didn't seem to like it. So I didn't know why he was acting like that. But they're gonna chase Stroud, who's heading towards the priest. The priest, not a lot happens this episode. I mean, last episode he went against the church a little bit. This one, he's talking with that guy again about like what it means. I guess his tattoo's kind of like burned now, and it's because Ben has the knife and he stabbed the Russian, and so essentially all roads are leading them to colliding when they head west. So I'm gonna watch the next episode here and check that out. But the only thing really with Samson, or the only thing really with Justin that it's like, oh shit, is that Sophie's working for him as a maid, which I was like, I knew she would end up there. It's like, of course she's gonna end up around the priest as his maid. I was kind of like, I don't see how this could have happened so quickly. Like, I get she needs work. I'm just wondering how she got from Nebraska to California over what seems like 3 days at the most. And I guess that is technically what Stroud said was going to take him to get from the carnival to there. But he's in a car. Now, I presume she got on a bus or something. And I could see how she would end up at the migrant camp because that's where all the Okies are ending up there. And as for her being his maid, I guess, they needed work. The last one got, raped and sent away. So, yeah, again, I guess it does kind of make. I guess it stretches credulity a little bit, but like, okay, fine, fair enough. The hand of fate is guiding this to happen, and he was already looking at her like sexually, so he's got some desire for Sophie. But what this means about her relationship to the usher, I'm not really sure. Again, we're gonna have to see. And plus, I don't know. Like I said, I thought before, but what if she was pregnant with Ben's kid? That would be a whole another angle for them to go down. But especially since he's a prophet now, he's ascended from prince to prophet. And when they bring Scudder down there, of course, I think Justin's gonna ascend as well. So, an interesting episode. I liked the relationship between Samson and Ben. That's like, we got to work out a new deal where I'm not going to be your lackey, and Ben doesn't want that either. So that was cool. But I do wonder if like maybe these next few episodes Ben will go down the path of being like, no, I'm a prophet now. You have to do what I say. That would be an interesting turn for his character, if the power like kind of corrupts him a little bit. Again, I know he's the quote unquote good one. I don't know. We'll really have to see, because I wonder, the management, like Ben says his plan this time was to die. Like, he was setting up all the pieces that would result in his death in order to have Ben ascend. Why he wanted, because presumably if he's Alexi's father, that means they kind of have the same power lineage, the same way that Scudder and Ben do. So presumably management would have been the dark one if Justin's the dark one too, and Scudder and Ben are the good ones. Or maybe for some reason it crisscrosses, like the good one will give birth to the bad, like will sire the good one will sire the bad one, and the bad one will sire the good one. So maybe Scudder is the bad one, but it didn't seem like Scudder was bad. I mean, he's kind of crazy, but it seemed like, from what we knew about the mother and about Ruth, he was mostly doing benevolent things, whereas management seemed darker. Plus, I remember at the beginning of the season they said that the Dark One fled from Europe in order to escape his fate. Again, I'm just speculating. I don't know the nature of all this stuff, but I wonder what management's whole plan was. If he's supposed to be the bad one, does that mean Ben is also the bad one in a certain way now that he's been led by management? I really don't know. We'll have to see, but I think it's going to be a little more complicated than just good versus evil. They've been building up the good versus evil angle so much, but I think they'll probably subvert it somehow. It just does, like, it feels weird to have this storyline and have it be that clean. But either way, we'll have to see. I'm going to watch another one here, and I'll get back to you guys, so talk to you then. Okay, just watched the 9th episode of the 2nd season, and this one felt like a pause to a lot of what was going on. Like, there was a lot of momentum building, and then we had to stop. For a reason that I felt was like, I mean, I was emotionally invested. Like, what happens is Jonesy and Libby get kidnapped by, sorry if you can hear my dogs barking, but they get kidnapped by the people who died from the Ferris wheel, and they tar and feather Jonesy. And on one hand, I get it. It's like, yeah, I mean, I think those people do have a right to be pissed off. Like, I don't think this is like unreasonable amounts of if you believe this person was drinking while they were operating your thing. And they fled, so that looks guilty as well. But I was emotionally invested. I was like, oh, I don't want Jonesy to die. I mean, he and Libby had they were experiencing some slight marital troubles. I didn't talk about this last time, but Jonesy and Libby got married, and there's some conflict because I think one, they actually don't really know each other that well. But then two, it's like they're very different people. Like Jonesy does not want his wife dancing naked, and she doesn't want to be controlled. There's also the whole family drama that he was sleeping with Rita Sue for a while. So yeah, it's definitely difficult. But I really liked how they she was so devastated that he was gonna die. She was like, just don't die. I'll do whatever you want. I mean, I saw instantly coming that Ben was gonna save them. It's like it's almost predictable, and that's one drawback of this show. Is as unpredictable as a lot of this stuff is, some of it's extremely predictable, where it's like, oh wow, Ruthie got bit by a snake, Ben's gonna save her. Oh wow, Jonesy got tarred and feathered, Ben's gonna save him. So that's why I said this episode kind of felt like a pause in the momentum that we were going to on the Carnival side, especially. We don't really get anything with the other characters. We got a little bit with Lila and Ruth, but not really. I mean, all it was Lods takes over Ruth and has her right. Sophie is the Omega. So that's really interesting because this episode also focuses on Sophie. So, like I said, she ends up as a maid working for Justin. And, there is actually another thing that kind of made sense about that, where she was listening to his radio program. So maybe his voice brought her there specifically. That could be an explanation as well that I didn't think about last time. But, it's there's not much actually going on with the Justin storyline most of the time. It's usually more of the same stuff. It's like just plot stuff. He's running a congressman. He's gonna get him elected. He's a Democrat, by the way, but don't know what this kind of means for the larger story. I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know if this is a real person, this Val Templeton. I don't know if that's a real congressman or whatever. I think it's gonna somehow tie into the atomic bomb that's gonna happen, which we're a ways off from that still. Like, we haven't entered World War II yet, but maybe it has something to do with that. Really can't say what the larger point of this is. The interesting thing was Iris. So Norman, their adoptive father, tries to kill Justin by shooting him. Doesn't work. Justin preaches forgiveness, and the crowd's like, yeah, he's great. But then at the end of the episode, Iris is like, I'm with you. Like, we destroy Justin, but we're gonna wait for the right moment. I was a little confused about what her motivation is. I guess maybe she doesn't trust Justin after what he did with kind of setting her up to take the fall for the fire, even though it didn't actually end up panning out that way. Maybe she's distrustful of him because of that. Maybe she does realize he's evil. I don't know what her motivation is. She kills Eleanor because Eleanor's first, she convinces Eleanor that, like, no, you didn't actually see Justin become the devil. But two, when Eleanor's gonna tell Justin jokingly about, like, she thinks now she was mistaken, she's gonna joke about it with Justin, she kills her because I guess she doesn't want Justin to know that she knows about the devil stuff, because she was also questioning him about what he remembered when he passed out. So I guess she doesn't want him to know that she knows he's demonic or something. I don't know. Her motivation's hard to figure out. Justin's motivation is very hard to figure out because I can't tell, like, is this who he is? Is he being controlled by something? Is he being manipulated by something? Like when he wanted Norman to kill him, was that his true self coming through in a moment, like out of the darkness? Is he possessed by like evil, the devil, darkness, whatever you want to call it? It's hard for me to know what to ascribe to his individual character level versus what he represents as the Dark One or something like that. So that's why I don't find Justin's storyline that engaging, because it's like he doesn't really represent a character as much as he does like a concept. I mean, it's getting kind of interesting now that Sophie's there and she looks up to Justin, and she's like, at the end of the episode, they're praying. He tried to use his powers on her to like have sex with her, but it didn't work. Obviously, because she's got the blood of the Usher, and she's the Omega. Like I said, I don't know what that means. Like, obviously, that immediately makes you think about Alpha and Omega, which, you know, usually refers to like God or Jesus, you know, in the Bible. So maybe her and Ben are two sides of the same coin, or maybe her and Justin in a way. Maybe because, I mean, the Usher seems like a force of darkness, and they both have the tree tattoo. So maybe her and Justin are actually more connected than her and Ben. And maybe she'll be the bridge between these two worlds. I really don't know. But we've got kind of 3 more episodes here after this, I think. So that will be interesting. I'll probably finish it off either today or tomorrow. But either way, thank you guys for listening to this, and stay tuned for the next one coming up here. All right, so I just watched the 10th episode of season 2. We're coming close to the end here. Some major stuff happens this episode, but we don't know the full impact of it yet. So, they after last time, Ben healed Jonesy. He takes them back, but Jonesy decides to go with Ben again to go look for the guy. They get to the hotel. They're too late. They're already gone. Turns out Stroud has already taken Scudder to Minturn, to where Justin is. They send word. Everyone's headed to Minturn to go find the priest. They see a picture in the newspaper, and they finally find out who the person they're looking for is. So that all happens. Meanwhile, at the carnival, also, Lods comes back. He possesses Ruthie, and he can talk and stuff, and he has sex with Lila. And he's like, I'm going to come back to the flesh soon. And so I wonder how that's going to work. Is he going to work with Justin somehow to get that done? I don't know. But he seemed confident he's coming back. It's a funny scene because Ruthie wakes up in bed with Lila. It's just like, what the fuck? Meanwhile, though, Lila also learns about Ben healing Jonesy, which I thought maybe Lods will try to take over Jonesy's body, because I think probably he wants a male body. I don't know how it works, though, because Ben didn't bring Jonesy back from the dead. He just healed him the same way he healed Gabriel, although it was much worse in Jonesy's case. So I don't know if somehow Lila's going to help Lods take over Jonesy or something, but we'll have to see. So that was the main thing at the carnival. They're all headed to Minturn. Meanwhile, though, at Justin's place, we got a couple of big reveals. The first of which is Justin is the Usher, apparently. He's Sophie's dad. I don't know how that works, because we saw the face of that guy. It wasn't Justin before. I don't know if there's some kind of trick here that I'm not understanding, or if it's just revealed that, oh yeah, he's Sophie's dad. If it is just that he's the one this whole time with the tree tattoo, I find that kind of cheap, because it's like, well, how the hell am I, the viewer, supposed to put that together when you're tricking me? You're showing someone who it's not him, right? Like, it's very clearly the actor who is portraying this guy before is not Justin. So I don't know how this... Maybe it's like him when he was younger type thing, although that guy didn't look particularly young. Maybe it's like a time travel thing. I don't know, because he didn't have the tattoos until right now. maybe it's like his future self going back somehow. Maybe they're doing time travel. I don't know, but if it's just that it was Justin the whole time type thing, I find that very cheap because I'm like, the viewers should be able to figure this stuff out if they're paying attention, and I am paying attention. But if you're intentionally misleading me by having people who are there's no sign that it's Justin up until that point, it's a completely different actor, just to pull the rug over your eyes. I find that very cheap. So I don't know if that's the case, but we'll have to see the full impact of that. Meanwhile, he also knows that Iris is conspiring against him. I don't know how. He just knows stuff. Um, Meanwhile, though, they have Scudder and they're going to kill him. But that one guy, he wants Scudder alive for some reason. I think okay, so he wanted something. He wanted something, some like manuscript. It sounded like some kind of like Necronomicon type, like, dark magic book or something. And then Scudder gives it to him if he promises to kill him. But then the guy goes back on his deal, and then Scudder uses his powers and breaks free. The sequence I found very cheesy. I did not like it. I thought it was a very cheap effect. I also question why he was able to use his powers now versus before. I also and then at the end Justin kills him. He was hiding in the car the whole time. I found that very cheap too. I If this is truly the end for Scudder, like, oh yeah, he died, I feel kind of cheated because like for being such a central character throughout all of this, we really got almost no information about him. We don't know why he was doing the things he was doing. We don't know why he was crazy. We don't know why he ran away. We don't know what his desires were. There's stuff I can maybe make assumptions about, but that's the whole point. It's like, you would think that in these episodes where we had him, we would be learning about his character. Like, am I going crazy? But like, is this not supposed to be a character-driven drama? Like, yes, there's a bunch of mysticism and stuff like that, but shouldn't the characters be central to it all? And it feels like we're really not, for a lot of these characters, we're really not developing them anyway. But it's not just a magic show. Like the show takes an inordinate amount of time to develop the Dreyfus family, to develop, Sophie and all this stuff, and it's just like, it's weird how selective it is. Like again, the Dreyfuses are not connected to anything, but somehow we still get more drama between Libby and her mother. Like it's almost like two separate shows happening at the same time. Those two elements are not meshing well together. Sometimes it works. Like Samson, I thought was well developed, and he's connected to the plot, but again, for someone like Scudder, you would think that we would learn something about him. Maybe the core of his character, why he's been doing the things he's been doing. Does he feel any regrets about Ben? Does he feel any love for his family? But no, he's just drugged up this entire time, and now he's dead. So I don't know. I'm really torn on how to feel about this show. It's like there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but like, this is not Deadwood. This is not about the characters that just happen to be set in this like Carnival world. The plot is so demanding. The magic esotericism is so demanding that it doesn't really leave room for the characters to breathe. Even the villain, like Justin, I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it's bad of me to compare it to Deadwood, but that's just kind of the thing that's popping into my mind. I was like, a rich character-driven story that happens to be set in this interesting setting. But it's like, yeah, even like Hearst from Deadwood, I thought was very well developed of why he's doing what he's doing, his character flaws. This show is just, I don't know, kind of really obsessed with like Gnosticism and magic and spirituality, but he doesn't tie them into like the characters in a major way so far. I don't know. I'm gonna continue watching. I'm gonna finish this out. I got 2 more episodes. I don't know if I'll get to all of them tonight. Might have to finish the last one tomorrow, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll touch on my thoughts on the whole series. So, talk to you guys then. Hey, what's up, everyone? Again, sorry my hair is a little crazy right now, but just watched the 11th episode of the second season, the second to last. The finale is coming up here. And, things are really moving forward in the sense that, like, all the pieces are now in the right spot. So, Ben and Jonesy, they snuck into the camp. Jonesy decided to go back to get the carnival. Ben stayed there. Um, and he snuck in to try to kill the pastor, but or the preacher, but he wasn't there. Then he goes down to the water where he's baptizing people, and he sees Sophie's there, and she sees him. So he calls up the plan for a moment just to talk to her and be like, "Yo, this preacher's evil." And Sophie doesn't believe him because she's very much become a believer in this stuff. She's kind of lost at this point. She doesn't have anything, and she needs something to fill that hole. So she's devoted herself entirely to Justin and his ideology. But as she's kind of spending time in the house, she hears some stuff that makes her think that Ben might be right about some of this stuff. She hears them talking in Russian, like Ben said they were Russian. She sees the mask he has of Ben, and she's like, "Why do you have this?" So it things are adding up here. It is pretty much confirmed that Justin is her father. I don't think he knows that because he's still trying to sleep with her. I mean, he might be that just weird, but I don't think he knows. And honestly, like I said before, the whole plot point of him being her father, I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why they were in St. Paul, Minnesota. Like, I don't know. Were they just traveling around with Norman, I guess, preaching or something? But I don't get how this works. But regardless, the most interesting thing about this episode, and it's kind of a missed opportunity, but it was cool, was the carnival losing faith in Samson. Like, this has been building up for a long time. They've been very dissatisfied, and I was thinking, like, man, wouldn't it be great if they abandoned him right at this critical moment where you're like, no, we got to do this. But for legitimate grievances, like, he's been lying to them for a long time. He's been screwing them out of stuff for a long time. It kind of makes sense that there would be kind of a revolt. And I thought, whoa, that would be actually a cool, if we were exploring the carnival as a concept more, that would be a cool thing. Like, have them, like, yeah, there's a revolution, unionize. We're not taking this anymore from Samson, and they abandon him. That would have been really cool. And maybe that fucks up the plan, and that would have led it maybe into season 3 if they'd ever done a season 3. But yeah, it's like it would have been a cool exploration of like how the carnival works and different personalities and stuff like that. But it's just Lila being bad, riling everyone up, and then ultimately Jonesy tells them about how Ben healed them. Another missed opportunity. I thought like Gabriel would jump in and be like, Ben healed my arm too, like, and then maybe they could even go to like Ruthie. I know she doesn't know she died, but that would have been a good reveal to everyone to be like, yeah, Ben brought her back from the dead. I thought it would have made a lot of these moments that they've been the few and far between moments they've had of Ben helping out people at the carnival. It would have paid off in this moment here. But it didn't. It just all comes down to Jonesy convincing them all. And I was like, there's a real missed opportunity to be like, have them realize, yeah, Ben touched a lot of people's lives at this carnival. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity. And that's the biggest thing about this show to me so far. I know we're going to go into the final episode and I'll have thoughts about how this show wrapped up. But there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool characters and stuff, but not actually that much payoff for what we're getting. I'm thinking too about like, what about that woman they brought into the carnival who used to be married to Samson? We've not even seen her for a couple episodes. Like, why are you making this, like, why are you introducing this character that you're not actually gonna, like, what about her cross-dressing husband? There was one scene with him what why are we not developing these characters in any way if you're going to make a point of bringing them in here? um I mean, again, plot wise, the one thing she did was she held Samson, like she distracted Samson while Ben killed management. But I don't know, couldn't he just, we don't need this, and we don't need to establish like I don't know, the whole relationship she has with her husband is weird. It's like, let's explore that maybe instead of the goddamn Dreyfuses again. Like they they really keep hitting home this point about the Dreyfuses owing money to this gangster guy, and I'm like, you're not doing anything with this storyline, right? Next episode is not gonna. I almost guarantee is not gonna feature anything about this gangster. I would be really surprised if they brought it in and distracted from the culmination of this 2-season long magical story arc about Ben versus Justin. If they interrupt that plot point for the Dreyfuses storyline about owing, a loan shark money. But like, if we're not going to ever pay this off, why are we dealing with it? Presumably it would have happened next season or something, but again, we could have been using this time to develop some of the other characters and make them more believable. Maybe have them interact with Ben more. That would have been great, again, for this moment here. This climax of them all realizing how much Ben means to them. But yeah, it's a show of missed opportunities for a lot of this stuff. I don't know what's going to happen next episode, but I guarantee you it's almost entirely going to be plot driven, about the whole mystery angle of the show. And I don't know how meaningfully they're going to advance any of the characters. Maybe Ben and Sophie, I could see stuff happening. But I kind of doubt that, like, where's the fucking lizard guy? Is he still around? Is he still in this carnival? I've not seen him forever. Maybe he dipped at some point. I've not seen the conjoined twins. The guy who can move his joints all around and like twist up and stuff, he's still there. Don't know anything about him. Yeah, just I don't know. We should have really been learning more about some of these characters. It's a missed opportunity, but either way, I just want to watch the final episode here. We're gonna get it done with. We're gonna talk about the whole series, and then I'm gonna prepare because I definitely want to make a video out of this. It's an interesting enough topic that I want to talk about it, but we'll wrap this up next episode. We're gonna watch it right now, and I'll get back to you soon. Okay, we are officially done with Carnivale, and this ending. Obviously, look, the show was canceled, right? It was canceled after 2 seasons. They were going to continue to do stuff. And it ends on a very big cliffhanger that will never be resolved. Don't ever expect Carnivale the movie. Like, this ain't happening. I don't know if the creator has said what was going to happen. I'm going to start to do research because I am going to do a video on this. But, yeah, man, what an ending. We really don't get any answers to what was this all about. The name Scudder does not come up once in this episode. What Justin was planning he says to Sophie, like, why would I want to go to hell? I'm going to bring hell to earth. What that actually meant, I don't know. It certainly was something to do, like, he was going to try to take over the country. Like, he was going to get involved with politics, probably eventually something with the atomic bomb. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how this works. Maybe he causes World War II and leads to the atomic bomb. I don't know how that works, but he had a plan. What it was, we don't know. It looked like he was going to be resurrected at the end. So Sophie, it seems like she's possessed by evil now. And this makes me think that, like, the dark side is like a possessive force, because that was the big question that I wondered about Justin and why I thought he was kind of a weak villain, where I didn't understand his motivation. Is he doing evil stuff because he's evil, or is it because he's possessed by darkness, or he's darkness incarnate or evil incarnate, whatever you want to call it? I couldn't tell if he's like a character making legitimate character decisions, or is he just a force? Like, is he just like an aspect of reality? Like he's the like again, darkness incarnate or something. Um, if we're going by any judge of like Sophie, we know Sophie's a good person. We know Sophie wasn't setting out to do evil stuff, but at the end there, it seemed like she was possessed by the same thing by like Justin. She kills Jonesy at the end, or at least we think she does. We don't know 100%. They leave without him because they have to get out of there because the Christians are gonna kill them all because they killed Justin. Although a lot of them saw Justin acting crazy like the devil, killing people. Is that not gonna shatter his image? But anyway, at the end, Sophie uses Ben's. Sophie has powers like Ben. Um, he's gonna. She's like killing the cornfield to revive Justin. I don't know if that's gonna work. I think probably she'd have to kill some people too to bring Justin back. But, um, yeah, I mean, she's got the powers. You know what? We never saw if Justin had those powers. He's got other powers for sure, but he didn't seem to have the life powers. So did they kind of alternate like? No, but Scudder have the powers because he brought Ruthie back? I don't know. We didn't get any answers about Scudder. We didn't get any answers about Justin. Um, I don't know. Iris, we don't really get any answers for the relationship between Justin and his father, management. What's that all about? Presumably that would have been explored more in later seasons, but even still, like, we really didn't advance the characters much in this episode. The one like character driven thing was the fact that Samson gives money to Rita. It's a nice moment, but just like again, all the fucking character development revolves around revolves around the Dreyfuses. Even Lila got stiffed this season. Like, she was building up to this like plotting against Samson type thing. It didn't pan out anyway. Even at the end there, it kind of was like insulting her. It was like, she's like, does this seem like justice to you? And everyone's just like, shut up, Lila. No one cares anymore. Ben's got magic powers. So just like her character arc went nowhere. Lods did not appear at all in this thing, and they made a big deal out of that. And I again presumably it would have happened next season or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of understand why the show got canceled. Like, the mystery angle to the show does not mesh well with the character-driven storytelling of the show, and I think you really need to mesh them well. This show gives me Twin Peak vibes, and I've only ever seen the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks. I couldn't watch the third; it was too confusing. I'll go back to it one day, but yeah, I felt like the characters were kind of weak. Like, I don't know what it is about shows like this. Maybe at the time they just felt like they had to kind of be very esoteric and weird. Again, like I said, I'm gonna do a bunch of research about what was behind this show and everything like that. But yeah, it felt at odds with the storytelling, and I just overall, I'm glad it's interesting. I want to talk about it. I want to make a video about it. But like, yeah, I would never have a desire to revisit this show. The first few episodes I thought were very interesting. I thought it was like I was hooked to some of these characters, but it just took a nosedive when it started becoming all about plot, all about this stuff, and only just occasional character moments that actually weren't really connected. They felt very separate. Yeah, the show could have been a lot better than it was. Like, almost if we dropped any of the supernatural stuff from it and we just focused on carnival life, I think the show would have been better. I think it would have been more like a Deadwood type situation. Obviously, Deadwood had a lot more going for it than this show. It had incredible language and stuff like that. But the basic idea of like, hey, let's explore the characters in this community. There was some really good characters. I really liked Samson. I thought that was one of the best characters on this show. I like Jonesy. I thought it was pretty good. Libby and the Dreyfuses were pretty good. If this was just a normal show, they'd be fine. They'd be a good addition. Ben, I don't know. Ben was okay. Sophie, I liked her a lot. She reminded me of actually some people I know that like, she just had this horrible life. And I would have liked to see her developed out more. I would have liked to see her explore relationships with characters more. Um, but yeah, they had to go off on their own because we had to have this weird, Gnostic plot to the whole thing. I don't know. Like I said, as I'm ending here, I'm obviously disappointed because it ends on this cliffhanger that we'll never have a real resolution to. But it was an interesting ride. Like I said, I will say that there is meat on this show that it's worth exploring. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. Like I talked about Rome and I said that Rome wasn't a masterpiece. A lot of people were disagreeing with me about that. A lot of people really liked Rome. I think there was some weak elements of the storytelling there too, but that one was more character driven than this show too. Like this show kind of goes off the rails with its plot. But it is, like I said, I'm gonna think about this for a while. There is stuff where I'm like, man, I wish this would have gone differently. It's not like a trash show where I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I don't care about anything that happens in this show. I was like, no, invested. I'm invested in this world, these characters, and I'm sad it's not going to be around anymore. But thank you guys for listening to this. Thank you for recommending this to anyone who recommended it to me. Expect a video on it sometime soon. Excuse me. But that's pretty much it. Let's tear down the Carnivale and hit the dust. I will see you guys next time, and stay tuned for more content coming soon.